Hello and welcome to New Start Now. I'm Don McIntosh, and joining me in the studio today is Dr. Michael Orlich. Welcome, Dr. Mike.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Today we're going to talk about osteoporosis. And Doctor, what is that? Do we need to be concerned about it? What can we do about it?
Well, we do need to be concerned or at least aware about osteoporosis. It is a significant problem affecting quite a lot of people throughout the world and the United States in particular. And osteoporosis, more than anything, is a disease of brittle bones. The bones get less dense, less strong over time, and this can lead to fractures. This is especially true in women after menopause, in elderly women, but also in men.
And what can we do to avoid it?
Well, whenever you think of bone health, the first thing you probably think of is calcium.
Of course.
And calcium is very important. You do need adequate sources of calcium in the diet, and so whatever your diet is, whether it's a plant-based diet or a diet that includes animal foods, you need to make sure that you have adequate sources of calcium because many diets don't. But calcium is not the only factor.
Okay, well, I want to know the other factors, but what are some sources of calcium in the diet? You know, when I was in nursing school, I always realized that the best answer was probably green leafy vegetables. Is that still true in this case?
That is absolutely true. You hit it on the head, and it is true for many things. They are wonderful vegetables, but some of your greens, like collard greens, kale, bok choy, these types of greens are high in calcium, and I would recommend having these on a regular basis in your diet to help get enough calcium. And you should eat these in sufficient quantities. And I should note that spinach in particular has something called oxalate in it, which means its calcium is not as well absorbed. So some of the other greens would be better sources.
So Popeye the Sailor Man really wasn't getting the best source when he ate the spinach.
But he was strong,
But he was strong anyway. Well, you know, all those foods you mentioned are the kind of things that we see here in the New Start cafeteria. It's interesting that they would know that. Of course, you would expect them to. But you mentioned something else. You said that calcium is not the only part of this picture. What did you mean?
That's right. Certainly equally as important, if not more important, may be vitamin D. In fact, if someone was diagnosed with osteopenia, which is sort of pre-osteoporosis, where the bones are starting to get thin, one of the first things that I would recommend that they do is have a blood level of vitamin D checked. If that's low, that's correctable and may deal with the problem. You can't absorb calcium well unless you have enough vitamin D on board.
So vitamin D, you could get that from walking out in the sunlight or some kind of supplement?
Absolutely, that's correct. In addition to vitamin D, exercise is critically important, and weight-bearing exercise is very important. This is where you're putting the weight of your body as a stress or strain on your leg bones, on your spine. This would be things like walking, jogging, etc. You know, in the Mir space station, the Russian space station, those cosmonauts would come back after a few months having lost much of their skeletal mass.
Is that right?
And that's because of the lack of gravity. But in the current International Space Station, they have a rigorous exercise program with weight-bearing exercises that put stress on the bones, and they don't lose any bone mass even when they're there for months. So exercise is critically important. A couple of other things that are important are vitamin K. That's important for bone health. Many people don't realize that.
Where do you get that?
That's in those dark green leafy vegetables as well.
All right.
It's also important not to have an excess amount of protein, especially animal-based protein, which may lead to leaching of calcium from your bones into your urine. This is also true with high sodium diets. So all that extra salt and sodium in the prepared foods, it's not only bad for your blood pressure and for heart disease, could actually put you at risk for osteoporosis as well.
So the action point today then is get out there and exercise, eat the right foods, those green leafy vegetables, have weight-bearing exercise when you're exercising, get the sunlight, and mostly just get out there and move, right?
That's right. It's not just one point, but a whole lifestyle that can help maintain your bone health as well as prevent other diseases.
Well, thank you, Dr. Mike, for being with us, and thank you for being with us. We hope that as a result of today's program, you can get a new start now. But also that start may mean going to our website, NEWSTART.com, where there's more information. Again, thanks for joining us, and have a new start right now.